Marisol Berti. I'm a professor at North Dakota State University in the Department of Plant Sciences. I'm an agronomist in field production of forages, cover crops, and biomass crops. My research on cover crops started mainly looking at possibilities for soil erosion and health, but then we got a lot of questions from farmers about the soybean cyst nematode. Since it's such an important pest and it's not easy to detect it until there's a lot of them and causing damage. So we call it a little bit like a ghost disease because we don't know we have it until there's almost too many of them. So because we started getting questions, I started working with my colleague in plant pathology, Dr. Weiping Jiang, because she's a nematologist. And we decided to start testing all these cover crops to see first if they were host or no host for the nematode. So we could recommend maybe the farmers what cover crops should stay away from in the case they already have the nematode in the soil. And also, since we have the limitation that we cannot plant cover crops after soybean, we wanted to test what happens if we interseed cover crops while growing soybeans, and if there is any ability of these cover crops to suppress the nematode and help the soybean to avoid the reduction in yield. There are a lot of the cover crops, especially all the cereal cover crops or grasses. They are no host, and they will help to reduce the nematodes. And those would be rye, barley, oats. All of those will help suppress the nematode because the nematode cannot reproduce, so it won't be able to increase in numbers. In the greenhouse studies Dr. Jan conducted, we actually defined some that do reduce the nematodes. And those are usually in the mustard family, brown mustard, winter camelina, and cranberry. Those did reduce it, and so we're very excited because we got 50 to 60% reduction on reproduction, and so we wanted to test it in the field. We planted them as a fall crop right after wheat. We planted camelina and mustard in 3 different locations on fields with high SCN, and then we also tried the interseeding of mustard, camelina, and cranberry into standing soybean fields. And these both trials, before and after the soybean crop, before and the soybean crop, we also had both a susceptible variety and a resistant variety to the soybean cyst, because we wanted to see if the cover crops can actually help a susceptible variety to overcome the nematode, or in a way they can be an additional help to the resistant variety. We did see that the resistant variety plus the cover crop, in this case camelina and mustard, were able to decrease the numbers. That means it seems like the cover crops are aiding the resistant variety to keep those nematodes in check. We want the cover crop to survive in the fall or in the winter. We have to plant at about leaf drop of after. When we plant it too early, like in V6 or R1, the light is under the canopy of the soybean is much lower than even corn. It's not enough light to support any cover growing under the canopy, whether you interseed it or broadcast it. But after leaf drop, it'll provide the cover after the soybean is harvested. And if you have rye interseeded, like after that stage, it'll come and it'll be there in the spring. I think the interseeding or broadcasting over the leaves is good because especially with the airplane, broadcasting, because you don't depend on moisture, you're still gonna have a cover, and you can broadcast rye for the next spring, so you can have a cover to move that moisture. So it really doesn't matter so much. I think I would still recommend to have that. But rye broadcaster over the soybean works well, even in wet falls. And the good thing is it's going to be there probably next spring, and move that moisture out so you can plant something else.